Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Fire Trail. In today's episode, I want to share a conversation I had recently with a married couple. They asked me, do I think that they are ready to purchase a home this year? The wife, in particular, has dream of owning a home before Christmas of 2024, but the husband has some concerns, and they wanted me to judge, well, which way should they go? Should they buy a home or should they not buy a home? So in today's episode, I just want to share with you my opinion and thoughts that I share with a couple regarding the best route to home ownership. Hey everyone, this is Xiao Yu. I retired last year at 37 when I reached financial independence from a traditional finance job. And now I make YouTube videos discussing personal finance topics and also do personal finance coaching, helping individuals reach financial independence so they can also retire early. So the question is, when is it okay to go ahead and move forward with purchasing a home? Well, here's what I share with this couple. There are really three criterias that I evaluate when assessing if somebody or a couple in this instance is ready for home ownership. The very first question I ask is, are you financially ready? Are you financially secure? I think that's pretty obvious. Home ownership is a major investment. It's a major purchase. It's probably the biggest purchase many of us will ever make in our lifetime. With the average home price right now of $300,000 nationwide, this is not a small feat. This is a big decision, and you want to make sure that you are financially ready to handle this type of purchase. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, of course, I have the down payment. I have 20% down. So now I don't even have PMI. I don't have the insurance penalty that I have to do. So I got 20%. So that means I'm ready to buy a home, right? No, actually not. Yes, having a 20% down payment is a wonderful first step. But there are other areas that you need to consider involving your finances. One of them being, how's your emergency fund? How big is it? Right? Outside of your down payment. So if you were to buy let's say a $300,000 home, you have $60,000 for a down payment, right? That's 20%, 60,000. And let's say your closing costs for the home that the seller they're going to take care of for you. So literally all you have to bring to the table is $60,000. But here's something you need to also consider. You need to have an emergency fund that is strong enough to support this new mortgage payment for maybe 3 to 6 months, just in case, let's say, you lose your job. That has happened, right? Think about during the pandemic. There are millions of people who were buying homes, right? Millions of people who bought homes the year before or just recently. And then the pandemic hit. And remember the first quarter? Many people were locked inside their homes. They didn't know what was going to happen to job. And many people lost their jobs because businesses had to shut down. There were no customers, right? And that is the reality, especially in today as well. We're not living through the pandemic right now, but you hear the news of the economic downturn. People are being laid off left and right. So you need to have an emergency fund. I recommend at least 6 months. If you're going to home ownership route, you should have at least 6 months where you can support all your monthly expenses for 6 month period in case you are unable to work. The reason being is quite obvious. If you lose your job and you don't have an emergency fund and you are behind in your mortgage, well, it's not going to take long for the bank to repossess your home and you're going to be out of not just the mortgage payment, but what about the down payment you just did? That's $60,000, right? So don't think that you're gonna just stay on your feet and that everything's gonna be perfect the minute you become a homeowner, that there are gonna be no major crisis. No, there will be. Even if you are able to, continue to have your job. There are going to be things that break down, like, your appliances, washer dryer, your AC, your heater, right? Your gas furnace, your water heater, right? Any of these things can break down, and you're gonna have, and these aren't just like $50, $100 replacement costs. These are thousands of dollars, and sometimes if it's like the AC unit is eight, nine, $10,000 easily, right? And even outside of this, here's a basic expense every homeowner will have immediately. When you go from renting a one bedroom apartment to having a home that's three bedroom, two bathroom, guess what you need to buy? That's right, furniture. You need furniture to furnish a home. Nobody buys a home and then have empty rooms, right? I remember when I purchased my home here in Indiana, I we left Florida and we basically sold all our furniture in Florida because we lived with my in-laws for the first 3 months because we wanted to take our time and find a home that fit our criteria and we didn't want to feel rushed. So we literally sold everything. The only thing we brought with us was our bed and we kept it in my in-laws had a three-car garage. So one third of their garage, we just kept like our queen size mattress and a dining room table that belonged to the family. But that was pretty much it, right? So when we moved into this home that was 2,100 square feet. Our Tampa home was only 1,100 square feet. So we doubled in size. And thankfully, I had a signing bonus from my new job when I moved up here. And we probably spent close to $10,000 furnishing our home, right? Because it's a home. You don't want to just random stuff in your home. You want things to match, and those things cost money. So you want to at least have something to furnish your home. You want to have an emergency fund in case you have an emergency and you need to replace a major appliance. Okay. So financially, are you able to have money set aside for that outside of just your down payment? Okay. So financially, are you ready? Number two, are you career ready? Is your career stable? Are you ready to, stick with this current job for the long run? What I mean by this is typically a lot of people buy the home, the choice of their home, the location of the home because of the proximity to their job, right? So you don't want to buy a home in Indianapolis and start working for a company in Indianapolis and then think like, hey, I want to now go to work in New York City, right? The next month. That's not practical. Now you can't just like an apartment, you can't just break your lease and pay a little penalty or sublet it. No, you have a mortgage and you probably sign up for 15, 30 years. You can't just, you know, get up and go to New York City or Florida or California or wherever, right? So career wise, you want to make sure that, hey, I know for the long term, for the next 5 years, because typically 5 years is how long it usually takes for you to recover financially all that money you put down to for this home. So you don't want to be moving the next year or the next 2 years because you will lose out on the home purchase. Typically, right? The last couple of years been an anomaly where people are just like doubling their home purchase price in a couple of months, but that's not reality. In any right now, it shows that people are home prices are not rising at that same level as it has been the last 2 years. So what I say is, career-wise, do you know you're going to stick with your current company or with companies within your location, right? Think about this. If you are in a very specific field of work and there are not many options in your location. It just happens to be one employer that, values your skill sets, and the employers that typically value your skill set, they're in a different state. You may want to consider like, hey, do I really want to, take this risk where I'm only betting on myself that this one employer that is gonna hire, like, not only hire me, but employ me for the long run, right? It might be wise to think, hey, maybe I should rent until I get more secure, because I might want to go to a different state where my skill sets is more desired in that location. Okay, so think about those things. So, are you financially stable? Are you career stable? And now the last thing I always ask people, are you relationship stable? Now, obviously, this couple, they're married, so you can't get any more stable than that, right? You found the love of your life. But if you're single, and typically I have this conversation for a recent college graduate, they got their first full-time job, and they say, "Hey, I'm wasting my money renting. I've rented all my life in college, and I want to, work in this city, and I want to buy a home because I'm going to save money and all that stuff." And I usually tell them to hold on, because here's the thing, here's the reality, especially if you are a guy. Buying a house for a guy is a lot different than if a girl is buying a house. Why? Because a guy look at a house as just a purchase, a practical purchase, a place where I just sleep in or entertain friends, during the weekends. And I don't care if, red matches with blue or green matches with purple or whatever color schemes it is. As long as I have a table and chair and a flat screen TV, I'm good to go. But for a girl, buying a house is buying a home, okay? It's a home to her. And I can guarantee you this, if I'm talking to guys out there who are listening, the girl who you may marry in the future or end up meeting in the future and marrying, she is not going to be at this. She's going to look at what your purchase and your decorations and all the stuff you have in your furnishings for home. She is not going to have that same appeal that you have for it. She's not going to have that affinity for it like you do. Okay, I know for a fact when I first started working full time. I'm 3 years older than my wife, so I was able to work 1 year full time before we got married. I lived in a house, in a four-bedroom house with five guys. Okay. Me and one person shared a room. My rent was like $200 or $300. Okay. All five of us split. And I lived in an and not an air mattress, but just a mattress that one of the guys that lived there previously left behind for me. And I literally just slept on a mattress, not even a bed frame or anything. And all my clothes, I didn't even hang it up on a closet. I just had my suitcase there, and yeah, I just literally lived out of my suitcase because I was working 50, 60 hours a week. And when I literally just came home to sleep if I wasn't working at the office. So when I got married, I literally just zipped up my suitcase and moved it to the apartment that I got for my wife and I. And she furnished the apartment. She had a budget and she just furnished it. And it looked incredible. I was like, wow, this actually looked like a home. In my previous video, you'll probably see now that in the office I'm in, I'm moving around because we are remodeling our home. So I was actually out of this office for quite some time. If you looked at my first few videos, it was looked completely different than what it does now, right? And guess who had this who came up with all these decorations? That's right, my wife did. All right. Even though I mostly make my videos here, I didn't decorate this because a girl treats a house like a home, where guys treat a house like a place to sleep. Okay, so do not buy a house unless you are sure, that not sure, but try not to buy a house when you're single. Okay, because you're definitely most likely going to have to sell it and move somewhere else for your spouse, and restart everything. So just think about those three items. Are you financially ready? Are you career ready? And are you relationship ready? All right, everyone. I hope you found this video. I know this video is a little longer than usual, but I hope you found it beneficial in your decision making of whether it's right time for you to buy a home. Please like and subscribe to this channel. It greatly supports me and what I'm trying to do, trying to build this community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about financial independence. All right. Again, my name is Xiao Yu, and I wish you all the best on your journey to financial independence. Take care.